Chaos backstage. The tension exploded as Bron Breakker just attacked Seth Rollins in the most vicious backstage assault we've seen all year. The beef between these two superstars just reached the boiling point, and what happened has the entire WWE locker room in shock. If you missed this explosive moment, I'm breaking down every brutal detail right now. What's up, wrestling verse family? Welcome back to the channel where we bring you the most intense moments, the biggest backstage confrontations, and the feuds that set WWE on fire. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and hit that bell because moments like this are what we live for. Today we're talking about Bron Breakker's shocking attack on Seth Rollins that has everyone talking. This feud just went to another level, so let's get into it. To understand why this backstage attack is so significant, we need to rewind and talk about how the tension between Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins has been building for weeks. This isn't a rivalry that came out of nowhere. This has been brewing, simmering, and waiting to explode. Seth Rollins is one of the most accomplished superstars in WWE history. Multiple world championships, main event matches at WrestleMania, a Hall of Fame caliber career that's still being written. The visionary has proven time and time again that he's one of the best in-ring performers and one of the most important voices in WWE. But Seth is also known for speaking his mind. He's never been afraid to share his opinions about wrestling, about the business, or about other performers. Sometimes that honesty creates conflict, and with Bron Breakker, that's exactly what happened. Bron Breakker represents the future of WWE. The powerhouse from wrestling royalty has been destroying everyone in his path since arriving on the main roster. His combination of size, speed, strength, and intensity makes him one of the most dangerous competitors in the company. He's got championship potential written all over him. But Bron is also young, hungry, and doesn't have patience for politics or veterans telling him how things should be done. He's confident, some might say to the point of arrogance, and he believes he's already better than many of the established stars. The beef started weeks ago during a backstage interview. Seth was asked about the current crop of rising stars in WWE, and while he had praise for several young talents, his comments about Bron were more critical. Seth questioned whether Bron had the complete package, whether he could perform at the highest level consistently, and whether he understood the psychology of professional wrestling. Those comments didn't sit well with Bron. In his mind, he's proven everything he needs to prove. He's won championships. He's had incredible matches. He's dominated opponents who were supposed to be more experienced. Why should he accept criticism from someone he believes he could beat in the ring? Bron fired back on social media and in his own interviews. He called Seth a dinosaur trying to stay relevant. He suggested that Seth's best days were behind him and that the new generation, led by Bron himself, was ready to take over. He said that talk is cheap and he'd be happy to prove his superiority in the ring anytime, anywhere. The war of words escalated quickly. Seth, never one to back down from a challenge, responded by questioning Bron's respect for the business and for those who paved the way for his opportunities. He suggested that Bron needed to learn humility before his ego destroyed his potential. WWE management saw the money in this rivalry and began positioning these two for a potential match. But they wanted to build it properly, let the tension grow organically, and create maximum anticipation. What they didn't anticipate was that the tension would explode backstage before they could fully capitalize on it. The incident occurred during this week's show. Seth Rollins was backstage in the interview area, cutting a promo about his upcoming plans and addressing various topics. When asked about Bron Breakker, Seth didn't hold back. He delivered some of his most cutting criticism yet, essentially saying that Bron was all muscle and no brains, all power and no substance. Unknown to Seth, Bron was watching on a monitor nearby. With each word Seth spoke, you could see the rage building in Bron's eyes. His jaw was clenched, his fists were balled up, and everyone around him could sense that something was about to happen. As soon as Seth finished his interview and started walking away, Bron made his move. He came around the corner like a freight train, and before anyone could react, he absolutely laid out Seth Rollins with a devastating strike that echoed through the backstage area. Seth went down hard. The camera crew scrambled to capture what was happening. Backstage personnel immediately rushed to the scene. But Bron wasn't done. The attack continued as Bron unleashed months of pent-up frustration on the visionary. Bron was throwing Seth into equipment cases, into walls, into anything he could find. The raw power on display was frightening. Seth tried to fight back, and to his credit, he got some shots in, but Bron's intensity and aggression in that moment were overwhelming. Other superstars heard the commotion and came running to try to break it up. But separating an enraged Bron Breakker from his target isn't easy. It took multiple wrestlers and several security personnel to finally pull Bron away from Seth. Even as he was being restrained, Bron was shouting at Seth, making it clear that this was personal now. The professional rivalry had crossed into genuine animosity. This wasn't about championships or opportunities anymore. This was about respect, pride, and proving who the better man really is. Seth was left hurt and furious. Medical staff immediately attended to him, checking for injuries from the assault. But even through the pain, you could see in Seth's eyes that he was going to get revenge for this attack. The architect was already calculating his response. WWE officials were scrambling to control the situation. This wasn't part of the planned show. This wasn't a scripted segment that went wrong. This was genuine chaos that they now had to manage and turn into compelling television. Let's talk about what this means for Bron Breakker's character and his trajectory in WWE. This attack demonstrates that Bron is willing to cross lines to make his point. He's not playing by the traditional rules, and he's not interested in waiting his turn or earning opportunities the conventional way. From a character perspective, this makes Bron incredibly dangerous and compelling. Fans want to see wrestlers who feel real, who have genuine emotions, and who act on those emotions in believable ways. Bron attacking Seth out of frustration and anger feels authentic. However, there will be consequences. WWE has rules, and attacking someone backstage unprovoked violates those rules. Bron will likely face fines, suspensions, or other penalties. But knowing Bron's character, he probably doesn't care. The satisfaction of hurting Seth was worth whatever punishment he receives. This also positions Bron as a legitimate main event heel. The best villains in wrestling are the ones who have understandable motivations even if their actions are wrong. Bron felt disrespected, so he responded with violence. That's a story audiences can follow even if they don't agree with the methods. Now let's discuss what this means for Seth Rollins. Seth has been in wrestling long enough to know that sometimes rivalries get physical outside the ring. But being attacked backstage, being caught off guard, and being hurt by a younger star has to damage his pride. Seth is going to want revenge, and when Seth Rollins is motivated for revenge, he's one of the most dangerous performers in WWE. He's creative, he's strategic, and he knows how to hurt people both physically and psychologically. Bron might have won this battle, but the war is far from over. This attack also gives Seth a fresh purpose and direction for his character. He can position himself as the veteran who needs to teach this young punk a lesson about respect. He can rally other veterans who feel the same way about disrespectful young stars. The storytelling possibilities are tremendous. The match between these two, whenever it happens, is now must-see television. The personal animosity is real. The physicality is guaranteed to be intense. And the crowd will be completely invested because the foundation has been laid perfectly. The WWE Universe's reaction to this backstage assault has been explosive. Social media immediately lit up with videos, reactions, and discussions about what happened. Fans are taking sides, debating who was in the right, and speculating about what happens next. Team Bron fans are celebrating that their guy didn't just talk, he backed it up with action. They see this as Bron establishing dominance and showing that he won't be disrespected by anyone, regardless of their status or legacy. Team Seth fans are furious about the sneak attack and are demanding that the visionary gets his revenge. They want to see Seth dismantle Bron piece by piece and teach him a lesson about respecting those who built the industry. The debate about respect between generations in wrestling has been reignited. Some fans believe young stars should show deference to legends who paved the way. Others believe that young stars need to be aggressive and take what they want rather than waiting for permission. Fellow WWE superstars have been commenting on the situation as well. Some veterans have expressed support for Seth and disapproval of Bron's actions. Younger wrestlers have been more split, with some admiring Bron's fearlessness and others concerned that this sets a bad precedent. This incident also highlights WWE's current creative direction of blurring the lines between storyline and reality. Modern audiences appreciate when things feel authentic, and this backstage assault had that authenticity. Whether it was entirely planned or had some real emotion behind it, it felt real, and that's what matters. Looking ahead, the possibilities for this feud are incredibly exciting. The obvious next step is a match between Bron and Seth, but WWE has options for how to get there. Do they make Seth wait for his revenge, building his frustration? Do they give Bron a temporary suspension that only makes him angrier? Do they involve authority figures who try to control the situation? The match itself, when it happens, could be a classic. Seth's technical skill and experience versus Bron's raw power and intensity creates a fascinating stylistic contrast. Both men are capable of incredible performances, and with genuine heat behind the feud, they're going to deliver something special. There's also potential for this to expand into a larger storyline about generational conflict in WWE. Other young stars could align with Bron, feeling that he represents their frustrations with the old guard. Veterans could rally behind Seth, determined to teach these young punks about respect. Stipulation matches would be perfect for this feud. A no disqualification match where they can unleash all their aggression. A steel cage match to prevent interference and ensure a decisive winner. Even something like a street fight where the brutality can match the intensity of their rivalry. The backstage assault by Bron Breakker on Seth Rollins is already one of the most talked about moments of the year. It was shocking, it was intense, and it perfectly escalated a rivalry that was already compelling. This is the kind of moment that creates buzz, generates discussion, and makes fans tune in to see what happens next. Both Bron and Seth are incredible performers who are going to deliver something memorable with this feud. The foundation has been laid, the heat is real, and the payoff is going to be absolutely worth the wait. Alright, Wrestling vs. Family, this situation is explosive and I need to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, was Bron justified in attacking Seth? Who do you think will win when they finally face off in the ring? And how do you want to see this feud develop? Let's discuss. If you loved this breakdown of one of the most intense backstage moments in recent memory, show some love by hitting that like button. It helps us grow the channel and bring you more incredible wrestling content every single day. Make sure you're subscribed to Wrestling vs. CC with notifications turned on. We cover every major moment in WWE, from backstage chaos to in-ring classics to the rivalries that define careers. You don't want to miss a single upload. Share this video everywhere. Post it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, and send it to every wrestling fan you know. Everyone needs to know about this backstage assault and what it means for WWE moving forward. Check out our other videos covering the hottest feuds, the biggest stars, and all the latest WWE news and analysis. We've got tons of amazing content that keeps you updated on everything happening in professional wrestling. I'm Wrestling vs. CC, and thank you so much for being part of this incredible community. Keep supporting great storytelling, keep celebrating these intense moments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, stay locked into all things WWE. Peace out.